Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of the Sri Lanka Morning Show. Today I'm joined by Dominique, Allas, Finance Advisor at Tomorrow Financial Solutions. Dominique, thank you once again for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
No, thank you very much for having me. It's always great to be on the show.
Thank you. Now, Dominique, I'm actually going to be a little bit uncanny here and start off with the very first question. And I'm really hoping you can enlighten me and probably some of our viewers out there. I have heard this term equity floating around a lot in written and spoken word. Can you please explain to me, and our viewers of course, what this term means?
Okay, so the word equity essentially means accessing funds from your home. Okay, so for me to break it down for you, it's for anybody that owns their own home. Let's say, for example, they own a $1 million home.
Right.
Let's say that they've also got a $500,000 mortgage on that home. It actually means that they can access close to $300,000, $400,000 of their of equity in their home.
Wow.
Okay, so it essentially means that what they're doing is their $500,000 loan is going to $700,000. Okay, and they're then having access to $200,000. So you've got one aspect, which is your $500,000 owner-occupied home loan, and then you've also got $200,000 of cash that you can then use as equity.
Right. Now, I've already got two burning questions that I'm dying to ask you. The first question is, what is the process of actually extracting that equity from your home loan?
Okay, so there are a couple of processes. So obviously we'd like to speak to your finance advisor, your bank. So what a lot of people will do is they'll actually do a refinance. So they'll refinance, from example, Commonwealth Bank to National Australia Bank. They'll refinance their current owner-occupied mortgage, and then in addition to that, they'll then take a cash out. Now, what a lot of our customers and what a lot of people we're finding are doing is they're taking that cash out, that $200,000, that $300,000, to then go and purchase investment properties. Or if they're living in a small home, they want to maybe downsize, or they want to upgrade their home and move into a larger home if they've got a growing family. They're taking money out to then use that as a deposit, or as essentially to use those funds to be able to purchase an investment property, and also if they are also needing funds to, for example, we've got some clients that want to purchase a caravan, or if they want to utilize the funds to pay off some debt. But in all, the word using your equity, you want to use it in a way that it will improve your financial position. So a lot of people these days are, I guess, when you're in your 40s and in your 50s, you've had a home loan for 20, 25 years. So the amount that your actual home loan has dropped since you first purchased a property, but the actual property amount has actually increased. So the fact that you've then got that bridge of $200,000 to $300,000 that you can then access means that you can then have and do your property wealth and intergenerational wealth for your family, and have those investment properties there to be able to help you when you retire or pass on to your kids.
So are there any penalties to actually taking equity out of your home?
No, so there's no penalties in taking funds out of your own home. You are in your own right to be able to take funds out of your home. A lot of people do it to be able to grow their wealth. A lot of people have been paying their mortgage as quickly as possible. So this is the way to be able to essentially use those funds to be able to purchase an investment property, especially for those that are, for example, self-employed, where they are not, where they're trying to draw down their loan as quickly as possible. Having the equity there then enables them to be able to purchase an investment property, and then obviously with the guidance of their financial planner, use that money to either purchase shares or purchase the investment property, so that they can then have that as their super fund.
Okay, excellent. Now, if I've, let's say, been in my home for 2 to 3 years, am I any less eligible to take out equity from my home as opposed to, let's say, someone who's been in their home for maybe 40 to 50 years?
No, definitely not. Look, anybody that's been in their home for 40 to 50 years there's going to be a huge amount of equity because they would have drawn down their loan. It would be pretty much down to zero. Okay. So in that aspect, they'd have a lot more equity to play around with. But saying that, anybody that has had a home loan for 2, 3 or 4, even 5 years, their property prices are always going up. Property is the one appreciating, or one of the most appreciating assets that anybody can have. So the fact that you are paying your loan off whilst your property is actually increasing, it does mean that in those 3 to 5 years, there might be some equity in your home. Okay. Obviously, depending on the market, that will then depend on how much equity you will have in your home, but you could potentially see anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 of equity in your home to then be able to draw that to be able to then use that as a deposit for an investment property.
Excellent. Okay. And my final question for you, Dominic, is regarding time frame. Mm-hmm. You know, does it take, is it very subjective, mm-hmm. you know, depending on your individual circumstance in terms of applying to actually take out equity from your home to that process actually being finalised?
Look, it all comes down to essentially the client's financial position. Okay. Essentially, having a look at what their current mortgages are, mm-hmm. if there are other liabilities, so credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and then obviously their income. So with a factor of all that, we can then, or any finance advisor or the bank can then have a look at it and say, okay, well, we understand that you might be able to borrow up to $500,000, but your current mortgage is $200,000. We'll then bridge the gap, and then you can use those funds to be able to then purchase an investment property, for an example. Obviously, with the help of your financial planner, especially if you are in the ages of over the 50, 55 year mark, mm-hmm. it would be advised to have that financial planner sit there with you and guide you through what the best process is with you, mm-hmm. because you are getting to you're 20 years off the retirement age. So definitely the process, it's not a hard process. It's mm-hmm. Sometimes it can be as simple as doing a refinance, bringing your interest rate down. You might be on 3.59, bringing it down to 2.09. Mm-hmm. And in addition to be able to doing a simple refinance, then using those funds to take a cash out and then having discussions with your financial planner.
Dominic, thank you very much for clearing up my many questions today around equity. It's definitely something that I had been looking into for a little while, so your time is greatly appreciated.
No, it's an absolute pleasure, and obviously happy to always give my knowledge to the audience and to all of our clients.
And to all of our viewers out there, thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of the Sri Lankan Morning Show. We hope to see you again soon.